Hello, my sweet friends. I hope you are all doing well. Welcome to day 11 of our 13 Days of Halloween series. If you're just joining in, you can find links for the first 10 days at the top of the description. And make sure you stay tuned throughout the video for the question of the day. Today I'm creating a paper bag mini album with those white lunch bags I picked up from Amazon. They've made a similar style of base in the past, but I'm incorporating some additional details so that I can show how versatile this project can be. If that sounds good to you, then stick with me and we'll make it together. We're working with the Fright Night collection from Photoplay paper for our project today. And so this is another collection that was from last year, but it's still available and I will link it in the description so you can find it if you're inspired to create with it. The bags I'm using, I picked up from Amazon. I will link those as well. And so they're a white lunch bag, but they're slightly larger than the average lunch bag, which works really well for me because I'm able to get a larger size page. And I think that white in the base is a little bit more neutral than the craft. So I'm really excited to work with this. The first step is to fold that lunch bag over where the crease is from the bottom of the bag, and make sure you get a good crisp edge there on your fold. And then you want to bring this to your cutter and cut this to be 5 inches wide. And I've already prepared this one so you can see we'll have room in here to add our inserts and we'll be able to pull them out of the bag there. For the project we're working on today, I'm going to need 4 of these bags, and the first step is going to be to join these sections together. This is going to be the pocket for the inside, and so of course we only want to add our adhesive to the sides and the bottom. So while we're working on joining these 2 pieces together, I will let you know that I was not thinking and I started the washing machine. So if you hear that noise in the background, you can pretend that it is ghosts and they are wanting some fresh linen. So that way we're gonna continue with our Halloween theme. So I've got my double-sided tape there as well as my Tombow, and I'm just going to bring these together, press them down to get a good pressure. Then you want to repeat that process for the other 2 bags. So now I want to bring these 2 together as well, and I'm going to cut a piece of my white cardstock to be 6 1/8 by 10 and scored at 5. Going to bring these corners together. This piece is going to act as a hinge between those 2 bag sections. So now we've connected these 2 sections. I want to cover these pockets on the end because we're not going to fill them. I do want them to be nice and sturdy and have a good crisp clean edge. So I have more of that white cardstock. It's still cut to be 6 1/8 by 10 and scored at 5. This is going to Set that into place on one side. And then fold that over. And repeat that process for this side as well. So on to the outside of this stack of bags, I have added more of my double-sided tape, and I'm going to add my Tombow here as well. I'm going to bring this piece in. It's cut to be 6 1/8 high and just the full width of the paper. And I'm going to line this up here along the edge. I've got my scoreboard here. I'll bring that in and line up alongside one of the full grooves. And fold that over. And then line it up again so that the score on the bag falls right alongside the groove. And then fold on that score again. And now I'll pull the tape from this side. Press it over to adhere the back page, and then I'll just come in and remove the excess here. Now remember, we don't plan to utilize the pockets on the end, so I want to cover those with the additional layer as well and get our nice crisp clean edge. So one more time with our pattern, one more time with our cardstock being 6 1/8 inch high by 10 inches wide and scored at 5. Bringing that right up to the score line and folding the cover over down into it. I'll pull this side of the tape backing now. Add my Tombow. Fold that over, enclosing that cut edge. Then I'll repeat that process for the other side. One last detail to finish before we move on to the inside is just to wrap this spine with some of the pattern paper. So I've cut my piece here. It is 6 inches high, and I'm going to add one score line and then bring that to my book. I'm just going to go ahead and repeat that process for this side as well. Myself a nice crisp edge here. We're going to wind up covering the cut edge of this when we put on the front and back cover, so I just want it to be secured and wrap around and give some detail for the spine. So you can see that that is going to be a nice finish edge all the way around. So I want to have some tip-ins for these pages. This is really going to help me get through those cut apart sheets, and I definitely want to go through them rather than add them to the stash. So I've got a piece of my cardstock cut to be 2 inches wide and then scored at 1, and this is going to be what we attach that journal cut apart to. This was one of the 4x4 cards, and I'm just bringing that right up to the edge. Then I'll clip off the excess. So now I have that prepared to wrap around our full-size page. So the cardstock for this is going to be 6 high by 4 7 wide. The pattern paper is 5 7/8 by 4 3/4. I put tape around the back here already, so I'll just pull that and secure that onto the back. Give myself a little extra tape here. And this is going to be the first page on the left. Finish the front of the pocket. And so the cardstock for this is 6 high by 3 3/4 wide, and the pattern paper is 5 7/8 by 3 5/8. I'll do the same for this side as well. I'm considering these a 2-page layout, so I'm keeping those patterns the same for both sides. They will each be getting a 4x4 tip-in. Remember, I have a plan to utilize a lot of my cut-aparts. So I have the 3x4 cut-aparts now for the insert that will go into the pocket that we've created. I'm starting with 110-pound cardstock, 5 1/4 by 4 1/2. The black cardstock is 5 1/8 by 4 3/8. The pattern paper is 5 by 4 1/4. I'm going to make these two-sided. So I'm going to put these on back to back, and I want to keep in mind where the tip-in will go because I have one for each side. So I need to keep them both on the top. And so here is this side as well. And you see these tip-ins are both on the top. Then we can tuck that into the pocket. And that will be our first set of pages. Remember, we had those 2 full-size pages connecting our bag section, so I want to finish those as well. I have the same setup for this side as well. I'm using the same measurements and the same process. So I have those 2 4x4 tip-ins as well as my pocket. And then I have the double-sided insert with one of the 4x6 journal cut-aparts. I just clipped that in half so that I could continue it on both sides. And we'll slip that into the pocket here. Added a generous amount of plaid ribbon here to tie this close, and I did get this from really reasonable ribbon, so I'm just going to tie this up so we can continue to work along for the front cover. This book is definitely going to wedge, and I embrace that because it makes it look so nice and full when you add all the remaining details. While we work on the front cover, it's a good time for the question of the day. Would you rather have a pumpkin or an apple pie? I am going to pick pumpkin as long as I can get that with a big scoop of vanilla ice cream. So let me know in the comments, what is your pick? So I've just put that base pattern on and added a layering pattern as well. There's a pretty doily to help break up some of that pattern in the background. Also kind of lightens it up a little bit. And then I'll top that with the image from the collection. This was one of the 4x4 cut aparts, but I cut it down to be a little bit better sized for the cover because we do want to add our flower arrangement. And I'll just center that here. I've got a combination of Made by Me flowers with die cut foliage, netting, loopy twine bows, more of that pretty plaid ribbon. A couple of charms here for the corner. I just want you all to know how dedicated I am to this series because I am downstairs filming this while the Lions are playing and they're winning. So you all know how much I love my football. And so I am down here making sure that I have a good tutorial for you guys. So I just love y'all so much. There is a button to hide the cut string. We had a couple of sequins here for the final finishing details for the cover. That's it for day 11. Make sure you plan to join me tomorrow for day 12. If you enjoyed this tutorial, let me know in the comments and give me a big thumbs up for this video. As always, I had links in the description so you can find the products I mentioned as well as all our socials. If you're not already, I would love for you to subscribe and join my crafty little family. And as always, I'm wishing you a happy and productive day, and I thank you so much for watching. Bye.